Tonight we're going to look at some Sale-A-Bration products. It is the end of February. I have no idea where this month went, but it's over almost as soon as it came in. I honestly can't believe how fast this month went by, but tomorrow is February 28th. It is the very last day to take advantage of the Sale-A-Bration products in the January and February brochure. So I'm going to show you a couple of those tonight. But before we get started, this is Sunday Stamping. If you're new to my page, my name is Jenna Moore. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in London, Ontario, Canada. And every Sunday I go live at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I share with you new products, projects I'm working on in my craft room, and sometimes new techniques. And so you can find me on my Facebook page. I also upload this to YouTube after it's over, so you can find me on my YouTube channel. If you're watching there on the replay, make sure to like this video, comment below, and subscribe. So let me change the view here so you can see my table. So this is the Sale-A-Bration brochure, which ends tomorrow. As far as I know, all the products in the brochure are still available. And so there's lots of fun ones. This one is one of my favorites. I've been using the Island Vibes. This paper is beautiful. There's probably nothing in this catalog that I don't like. This paper, I honestly cannot believe it is still available, if it still is, which I believe it is. If you own the Rainbow of Happiness bundle, you are going to want to make sure that you have enough of this paper, because as I keep using it, I find how well it coordinates with the bundle. So if you have that bundle, or it's on your wish list, because right now it's unorderable. It's on back order. It's supposed to come back into stock in the next week or so. So if that's on your wish list, make sure you stock up on the paper. The otters are super cute for birthdays. This set is beautiful with the lovely spring colors. This is one of the stamp sets we're using tonight. This is Special Moments. If you are new to stamping, this is a great stamp set to sort of build your stamp, what's the word I'm looking for? It's your stamp collection, because it's an all greeting stamp set. And then this one is beautiful. If you go onto Pinterest and you look for the stamp set, the Calming Camellia, I don't know if that's how you say that. There's lots of beautiful projects that I still haven't been able to get to yet. We do also have the Join special. So if you are interested in joining Stampin' Up! As a member, you get $165 worth of products. You pay only $135, and in Ontario you pay no shipping, no tax on that, so it's a flat $135. And then during Sale-A-Bration you get 2 extra free stamp sets of your choice, except for host stamps and Sale-A-Bration. So if it was me, I would pick, you know, the 2 most expensive stamp sets on my wish list, and that's what I would choose as my free 2 stamp sets, and that's in addition to the $165 worth of product that you get to choose with your starter kit. If you have questions about this Join special, let me know. You can get to the Join link by visiting my website, and there's more details there. So tonight, like I said, we're going to work with 3 different products from that brochure. The first one that we're going to work with is the Sunshine and Rainbows. This is that designer series paper that coordinates with the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. This paper I have used probably more than any other paper that I own right now. It's bright and beautiful. It works on all different types of cards. And actually there's so many patterns that I had to double side my little display here. So there's lots of fun rainbow designs, but you know, if you're not into the rainbow pattern, there's lots of other patterns on the other sides of the paper. And as I was saying, this paper coordinates well with that bundle. This paper here, the rainbow, there's actually a die that will cut out these rainbows. And the cloud punch, I just realized tonight actually, the cloud punch will cut out the paper in this pattern. But otherwise there's lots of fun other patterns that you don't have to have the rainbow set to be able to use. And there are tons of coordinating colors. I myself am enjoying the Misty Moonlight and Magenta Madness, which you're going to see in my card tonight. So there's that one. And then there's this fun stamp set. I've had this for a while and I haven't been able to pull it out, but I keep seeing lots of fun ideas on Pinterest and Facebook So I'm going to show you one card that I came up with tonight for a special reason, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other samples that I've created with the stamp set. And then, like I said, we are using a special moment, so I'm pulling all of my greetings from this stamp set. This stamp set is fun because not only is it only greetings or sentiments, but it's got different fonts in it, which I find really fun. They're not even necessarily coordinating fonts, they're all different fonts. So depending on what card you need, there's lots of different options here. So this stamp set you can earn free with a $120 order, and again, that's until Monday, February 28th. So these are the 3 products we're working with tonight. I have a fun card that I want to show you, and it, like I said, it has a special purpose. So one of my friend's daughters recently turned 16, and honestly I can't believe that, because I feel like that really indicates my age, and I don't feel that old, but I can't believe I have friends who have teenagers. So because she's turned 16 and is looking forward to getting her driver's license, I thought this would be a fun card to create for her birthday. And because those kids are all teenagers now, I feel like cash is the most appropriate gift. So I wanted to turn her birthday card into a money holder. So I'm going to show you this card tonight, and then, like I said, I'll show you a couple afters after we're done with this one that use that, what's this called, driving by stamp set. So to start off, I'm going to show you how I cut the paper. So I'm starting with a base that is Pool Party. This is a full sheet of cardstock. So it measures 8.5 inches by 11. And so we're going to turn that into 8.5 inches by 7. So I'm pulling out my paper trimmer here. And hopefully we don't lose focus too much while we're doing this. So this base is going to be 8.5 by 7. So I'm going to stick it on my trimmer and cut it at 7. Which is great that this trimmer has the arm on it. And then I'm using my trimmer blade and cutting that. And then I'm going to flip it and put 2 score lines in it. I'm trying to make sure that when I cut this the first time, I scored it on the wrong side. So flipping it around and then putting 2 score lines in it, one at 2 inches and one at 5 1/4. And the Stampin' Up! Trimmer does have the score blade as well as the cutting blade. So we're going to get rid of that because I've cut all the other pieces. So for the Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper, I pulled 2 different patterns. This one measures 6 inches by 3 inches. So this pack of paper is actually a 6 by 6 pack. So it's nice that these measurements are 6 inches by 3 inches, because I'm basically taking one sheet and cutting it in half, so you can get 2 cards out of one sheet of that paper. And then similarly, this piece is 3 inches by 1.5 inch, so you can get quite a few pieces this size from a 6 by 6. And of course, all of our Designer Series paper is double-sided, so if you don't like the pattern on one side, you can certainly flip it over and use the other pattern. And then I have a couple of other strips of cardstock. So I'm pulling Magenta Madness, which is one of the coordinating colors in this Designer Series paper. They both measure 3 inches long. This one is 5/8 of an inch wide, and this one I think is about 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut it with a border. Oh, it's just over 1 inch. The width of this doesn't really matter because we're going to cut it with one of our dies. So I've got those 2 pieces, and then I've pre-cut already 2 of the labels from the Hippo and Labels die set. This is available in the annual catalog, and if for no other reason to have these dies, the labels are, to me, the selling feature of this die set. Even if you're not interested in the coordinating stamp set, I use these dies quite a bit. So you'll actually see these a couple times in my sample tonight, but I've pulled a couple of these. They're layering dies, so I've cut one in Basic White and one in Misty Moonlight. And so the one cut I'm going to do before we start stamping is I'm going to cut this piece here and I'm going to create this little border here. So the border, I've brought out my basic border dies, and hopefully this will focus. These are all borders that you can use in various ways on your cards. I like the cloud one. This one works really well with that rainbow bundle that I was talking about, but I'm going to use this zigzag pattern just to create something of a fun edge. And I'm going to use my mini machine for this. All of these border dies will fit on the mini machine. So I'm going to put my cardstock down, and I'm not really concerned where I'm cutting this. I'm more concerned about, is it going to be straight? Okay, there we go. I feel like, okay, I don't have this. The trick with this machine is you have to layer the plates like that. There we go. So run that through. And then if you cut it properly, you would actually end up with two borders, one on each side. I'm going to stick with that piece and move the rest of this out of the way. So we've got that all set. So now let's do our stamping. So I've pulled the stamp that has the race car and the balloons. I thought that would be a good one for a birthday. And I'm going to take my label in basic white, and I'm going to use Magenta black because I'm going to color the car and the balloons. I want to make sure that I'm using an ink that is not going to bleed. So I've got my Magenta. We're going to ink that up and then ever so carefully stamp. And then I'm going to use a couple of coloring techniques on this card. So to color the card, I'm going to use my Stampin' blends, and I've pulled in Pool Party, which is the same color as the cardstock, and then I've pulled in a smoky slate and a basic black Stampin' blend. I'm just going to take some water here. Got a bit of a dry throat here. Okay. So these are what I'm going to use to color the car. So I'm going to start with my Pool Party. And if you're not familiar with our Stampin' Blend markers, they come in a light and a dark. So I like to start with the light color of the marker. This is really personal preference because some people start with the dark and then go back to the light. Then I'll come back with the dark and I'll do a bit of shading. I won't say that I'm a really, professional colorer. I like to just get it done. And then I'll go back with the light and sort of blend any dark, harsh lines. Okay, so that's Pool Party. And then the tires, I want to make sort of two different colors. So I'm going to color the hubcap in, this is Smoky Slate. And then I'm going to do the tires in basic black. Now, these ones I've chosen the light marker only. I'm not going to bother shading these. I do find the coloring relaxing, but I don't, like I said, I need it to be quick though, or I lose focus. I'm going to color in the chrome areas, and then that part's done. And then as I was going through my Stampin' Blends, I realized I don't have some of the colors that coordinate with this paper, but I do have the ink pads. So another way you can color is to use your ink pads and use a blender pen. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like. If you squeeze your ink pads a little, that will transfer some of the ink to the lid of your ink pad. These blender pens come already filled with the solution in them. I'm going to pick up some of the ink, and then I'm going to color the balloon. Okay. Just like that. And then close that up. And then I don't have to rinse this off or anything. I'm just going to use my grid paper, wipe off the ink, and then I'm going to move to my next color. So I've got Misty Moonlight. This is one of my coordinating colors. Picking up the ink and then coloring those balloons. So this works well if you have the ink color, but you don't necessarily have the markers or the blends. This is a great way just to do some coloring with what you have. So I'm going to wipe that off. And then pick up, this is Mango Melody. And there we go. So just adding some quick color there. That's all the stamping we're going to do on that. And then the last, I guess I still need this. The last stamping I'm going to do here is on this banner of Magenta Madness. So like I said, this measures 3 inches by 5/8 of an inch. And I wanted to do some heat embossing in white. I like doing the white heat embossing powder on a dark color of cardstock. I find that it really pops that way. So this is where I pulled a stamp from that Special Moments stamp set. This is the Happy Birthday one. It's a nice, it almost looks like a classic font to me, which is why I thought it would go well with the cards. So I'm stamping that, and then like I said, I'm using the white heat emboss powder. And then we're going to heat this up. So just put the powder on and then tap off the excess. A bit extra on there. And then you need a heat tool. So the heat tool does get quite warm, so I'm going to hold this down and just bear with me while I heat this up. Okay, there we go. Heat embossing is one of those things that I don't always remember to do on a card, but once I do some heat embossing, then I want to keep doing it. It's almost addicting. It turns out so well. Let me know if you've tried heat embossing yet. Is that something that you do often, or are you like me and you forget? I feel like I do heat embossing more at Christmas. And I use the metallic colors, but I really like the white for sort of everyday cards. So now we're going to put everything together. I've got my card base, and I'm going to fold on the 2 score lines. And of course, this is going to be a money holder, so you want to make both of the folds come to the middle of the card. This is going to be our lip for, or pocket for holding the money. You could use this as a gift card holder. Also, you could put in 1 or 2 gift cards there. So we've got that. Then I'm going to put my designer series paper on the front. And so for this, I've just used Stampin' Seal to glue it flat. So you'll see this is a 7-inch length card. So because this is a 6-inch piece of paper, it's not going to go all the way to both sides, so you want to pick the right hand side to glue that down. It helps if you take the lid off. And then do a couple strips of your tape runner. Make this go this way. And then mount that. Okay, so we've got that piece. Then we're going to layer these pieces on together to each other before we glue it onto the card. So for this, no, I am going to use Stampin' Seal. I'm going to flip this over, put Stampin' Seal on the one side, and then I'm going to line these up so they fit together. So depending on how thick or thin you want the border to be, I'll lay that down there. And then I'm going to add some ribbon. So the nice thing about the Stampin' Up! Products is that we have lots of coordinating products in the same colors. So you'll notice that this is also Magenta Madness ribbon. This is our open weave ribbon, and it comes in all 5 of our in colors for 2021 to 2023. So that for me is a great feature of the Stampin' Up! Products, because then I don't have to think about, you know, how many different types of ribbons I need. Is it going to go with the paper I have? I know from the designer series paper on the back of the packages, they always tell you the coordinating color, so it's a no-brainer as to what ribbons or what embellishments or what cardstock you can use that coordinate together. So I'm just going to glue this one strip of ribbon to the back of my border. And hopefully that's straight. And then I've cut another piece of the ribbon. I'm going to tuck it underneath, and this is what is probably not officially called a cheater bow, but that's how I learned it. I probably cut this piece too small, but let's see if I can make it work. So I'm just going to tie, no, I don't think I can make that work. Tie or cut it a bit bigger. Stick that, stick this underneath, tie it in a knot. There we go. And then I'm just going to trim up the ends because I don't want them hanging off the card. Okay, there we go. So we've got that, and now this is ready to go on the card. So I want to make sure that I line up the top and the bottom. I'm going to add some more Stampin' seal here. And just line this up. Okay. There we go. So that's the base done. Now I'm going to secure the inside of the card. And so for adhesives for 3D projects and gift card or money holders, I like to use the tear and tape adhesive. This is super strong adhesive, and so for a money holder or a 3D project, I really need something that's going to hold together. And I just got a new roll of the tear and tape. I honestly don't remember the roll being this big. But it lasts a long time, so it's definitely something if you don't have in your craft stash to add. So just gonna put it down and then peel the backing off, and I'm keeping the adhesive to the very ends of the pocket because I want the money to be able to fit in the pocket afterwards. So we've got that. And now we're going to put on the other details. So I'm going to glue my labels together, and I'm just using Stampin' Seal for this. If you wanted to add dimensionals, you could. And like I said, these dies layer, so you get a nice border around the edge. This I'm going to add to my card using Stampin' Dimensionals. Die is nice and big, so you need quite a few of the Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I'm going to put that here, and then we're going to add the sentiment. So I kind of want it to overlap, and I'm just going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on the right hand side because I want this to lay flat. So I'm just going to put one dimensional, but then I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on the rest of it. And there we go. So this pattern or the measurements for this card you could use for any occasion for a money holder that you need. And you can swap out the designer series paper and the labels and whatnot. So I do have the measurements here. The base again is 8.5 by 7 inches, scored at 2 and 5 1/4, and then there's 2 pieces of designer series paper. This one is 6 inches by 3 inches, and then the smaller one is 3 inches by 1.5. And then you could add whatever details and ribbon or embellishments that you want. I think this is a fun card, especially for a birthday with the balloons on this stamp. So that is the card I wanted to show you tonight, but I wanted to show you a couple other samples with this stamp set. And so I put this one together. This one is actually quite, it's a card that comes together quite quickly. I've used strips of the designer series paper. So for instance, when you're cutting these strips to use on one card, sometimes you'll find that in a designer series paper pack you end up with a whole bunch of smaller strips of paper. So these are actually, they were 2 inches wide. I cut them down to 1.5. So they're 1.5 by 4.5 inches wide, and I've used 3 strips. This layout works perfectly for any designer series paper strips that you have lying around that haven't been used. So I've used 3 of those, and then I've pulled in the same dies, the Hippo and Friends. I've used the different shaped, these ones here. Again, they layer quite nicely, so I've layered 2 of those. And then I've taken the designer series paper and I've stamped this fun sort of vintage, it's kind of like a VW vintage bus. I stamped that memento right on the designer series paper, and then I fussy cut it out. These images are quite easy to fussy cut. They don't have dies, and that's perfectly fine because I was able to take my paper snips and actually cut around them quite easily. So this is a layout that works well for all different types of cards. I use this one quite a bit. So there's that fun card. And then this last one I saw on Facebook today. It is cased from another demonstrator, Tammy Wilson, and this one's probably going to be harder to see because I embossed it in white. But this makes a fun wedding card using sort of the kind of like a VW bug or beetle card. So this is fun. You using that same sentiment stamp set, the special moments, to make it look as though it's pulling the best wishes banner. I don't know if they still do this at weddings, but I know at my wedding quite a few years ago we did have like the cans and everything pulling behind our vehicle. So on this card I took the stitched greenery die on basic white, and I used the blending brushes with petal pink to add some color to it. I'm just going to zoom here so you can see the details more. I added again that same die from the Hippo and Friends, this largest one here, and I cut out vellum to put in behind the car. I stamped the car on basic white using the white embossing, the heat emboss powder again. I used the blending brushes again with the petal pink and gray granite inks, and then I added some ribbon and just sort of used a glue dot in between the 2 pieces. So like I said, this was cased from Tammy Wilson. If you can find her on Pinterest, you can see her card and how it came about. I did also add some iridescent rhinestones. These are in the mini January to June catalog. So I hope that you enjoyed these products, the Sale-A-Bration products tonight with the cards that I've featured. If you have any questions about Sale-A-Bration or any of the products that I've used tonight, please feel free to send me a message, and I'd be happy to help you. I do have a bulk order, so if you are local in the London area, I do have a bulk order going in Monday, February 28th, so if that's something you want to add on to and save some shipping, please let me know by Monday at 4 p.m. And I'll get that in for you. Otherwise, I hope that you have a great evening and you enjoy the week ahead. Take care and stay healthy. Bye now.